This is the Giants Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Francisco Giants, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR, or maybe you know me from some of the other postcasts we do here for Locked On Warriors Postcast and Locked On 49ers Postcast. But hey, it's opening day. It's all about baseball, baby. And today, the Giants, man, entered the ninth inning, trailing the Cincinnati Reds by 1 run, but scored 4 in the one frame in the top of the ninth to complete the comeback and the come-from-behind win on opening day at the Great American Ballpark. Pat Bailey tied the game in the bottom of the ninth with a seeing-eye single to right field that just barely squeaked by the second baseman, and Wilmer Flores, man, comes up and delivers the fireworks with a huge 3-run bomb to give the Giants a comfortable lead entering the bottom of the inning. Ryan Walker did surrender 1 run in the final frame, but escaped with his first save of the season. Some other issues for the Giants today. We got to talk about all of the strikeouts that they had, and a big problem. And Logan Webb, a little shaky, but I'm not very worried about him. We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Giants YouTube channel. A little different. We used to do the show on the Locked On Sports San Francisco channel. Now everything's all in one place to make it easier for you guys to catch all of the Giants action here on the Locked On Sports Network. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. Make sure to check out the Locked On Giants daily show for more in-depth coverage. Ben Kaspick, my guy, does a phenomenal job breaking it all down. And Webby, I mean, let's start there. He got into some trouble early on, got dinged around a little bit, but man, I'm really not concerned about Logan Webb. Today, he goes 5 innings, gives up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks. The 3 walks, man, those 3 walks came back to bite him early on, walking Ellie De La Cruz in that first inning after getting him into an 0-2 hole with 2 outs. And then, you know, Gavin Lux gets on base, another walk there, and eventually he scores later in that inning. So, I mean, just not the best start for Logan Webb, but that's not very uncommon for him. We've seen him kind of get, you know, roughed up early in games. If he's going to give up runs, it's usually early on in the game. Now, he gave up 2 runs in the 3rd inning as well. It was another just kind of a parade of base runners after Ellie De La Cruz singled and Gavin Lux singled. Candelario singled as well to bring some 2 runs in for the Reds. Obviously a ton of speed for those guys on the base paths with Ellie De La Cruz. Gavin Lux, man, I hate to see Gavin Lux playing the Giants. He always seems to give them fits. Even when he was on the Dodgers and having a terrible, terrible season, still was hurting the Giants every single time that they would end up playing. So I never like seeing former Dodgers do well against the Giants, but thankfully it didn't really matter at the end of this one because, man, that 9th inning, man, and not just that too. We got to talk a little bit about how the Giants got those first 2 runs with Elliot Ramos and showing off the power early on in this game, early on in the season. Man, I really think that this guy is going to put up a 30 home run plus season for the Giants. I think it's something that is almost like destined in the stars. I can feel the particles emanating from this guy every time he's out there. He is exactly what the Giants need. I think a lot of their success this season is going to be predicated on how Elliot Ramos performs at the dish, because we saw stretches last year where the Giants were dying for offense and Ramos really stepped up and provided it when nobody else could. And with as good as this pitching staff is, you don't really need a whole lot of offense to generate some wins for this team. We can get in a little bit later to win predictions for this season and all that. But right now, man, Giants are on a 162-0 pace, and I am hyped. Elliot Ramos smashed that one out of here. Oppo Taco in the top of the 4th scored Jung-Hoo Lee, who had walked earlier in the inning, and you don't got to show off that speed if you got Elliot Ramos behind you, driving you in with a ball flying over the fence and out of the yard. So Giants, I think, really, really, really get a huge lift when Ramos swings the bat like this, and it keeps them in games. And today you saw that play out so prevalently, because if without that, I mean, yeah, they still would have been able to maybe generate that comeback in the 9th inning. But if you enter that that ninth inning down 3 runs. That's a huge ask to come back all the way and tie that game to extend it or take the lead. Granted, the Giants did score 4 runs in the ninth inning today. Let's get right to that. The pivotal moment of today and what you'll be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And of course, what you'll be talking about is the Giants comeback win, baby. I mean, this was such a phenomenal way to start the season. Oh man, I can barely contain my excitement. You probably hear it in my voice. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, you can see it all over my face, man. But Jung-Hoo Lee walked in that ninth inning with 1 out. Matt Chapman singled, and with 2 on. With two on, Elliot Ramos strikes out on a perfect pitch that just hit the black. I couldn't tell if he was just upset at himself for not swinging the bat or if he was upset at the call. Either way, that pitch absolutely dotted the outside corner of the strike zone. Ramos couldn't really do much with it. He is a good low and away hitter, as you know, that home run came on a pitch that was low and away, but he's got to swing the bat in that situation. He's still a young guy. He'll eventually learn these situations a little bit better than he currently performs in them, and he'll get better in these clutch moments. But man, up comes Patty Barrels with 2 outs, and Pat Bailey, man, singles on a ground ball to right field. Seeing eye single, gets right by the second baseman, scores Jung-Hoo Lee, and sends Matt Chapman to third base. Puts 2 on for Wilmer, who comes up and smashes one over that left field fence. And man, I had Buster Posey vibes flowing through my veins when Wilmer smashed that one out of here. It wasn't quite the grand slam in Cincinnati in the playoffs, but man, what a way to start the season. Opening day, Wilmer Flores smashes that 3-run homer over the left field wall. Giants go up 6-3. And I mean, the Reds, they did end up tacking on a run in that ninth inning. Cut it to 6-4 and did end up bringing the tying run to the plate, but Ryan Walker shut him down and got out of there with his first save of the season. So the Giants, I mean, just what more do you want from the start of the season? This is excellent for the Giants. A great way to start the year. And man, this was, I'm just happy to have baseball back in my life, man. I don't know about you guys, but baseball for me, I do all these other shows too, but baseball, the Giants has always been my one true love, my first love in life. And man, this is the best day of the season. The best day of the entire year, if you ask me, is opening day in baseball. And honestly, I would, it's fun having the opening day festivities here in San Francisco. But hey, let's be real. The scene out there in Cincinnati is awesome, man. I mean, the way that they have that parade before the game, all the kids in Cincinnati have school off for today, which I think is should be like a national decree that nobody has to go to work or school on baseball opening day. We should do the same thing with the day after the Super Bowl. But man, the vibes of an opening day in Cincinnati are pretty unparalleled. And just so you guys know, this was actually the most expensive ticket in all of baseball. The most expensive average ticket price was Giants Reds for today across all baseball, across all MLB. Most expensive ticket, most expensive game to go watch was Giants Reds, which probably wouldn't have been my guess. But hey, with all the festivities in Cincinnati and also with all the hope that the Reds have for that team this year, you saw why they have a lot of hope. Hunter Green was absolutely nasty today. Ellie De La Cruz looked great as well. The Reds expect a lot from their team this year. But the Giants starting out the season with the win. And a lot of people, Vegas even has the Giants projected to win less than 81 games. They think that they're going to go under 500. I personally don't think that's the case. We can get into that and so much more. Player of the game and so many other things. That this game's turning point on the other side. Quick break here on the Locked On Giants postcast. Stick with us. Today's show is brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. Supply House, whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is jam-packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free TradeMaster program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the TradeMaster program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order, SH5. That's supplyhouse.com. And today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. I've got my eye on some underdogs this year, man. I've been trailing this Arkansas run since the beginning, since the round of 64. And let me tell you, I'm taking them in the Sweet 16 too. And on FanDuel, makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. I'm taking a money line, baby. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. And with the tournament games happening almost every day, there's always something to bet on, something very exciting. The FanDuel app is always simple to use. And when I win, I get paid instantly. No waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. Excuse me. We were doing the Locked On Sports San Francisco postcast, but now just a slight change to the program. We have combined forces, Locked On Sports postcasts and Locked On Giants, as well as Locked On 49ers, Locked On Warriors. We'll be making this change with those channels as well. Now we're all in one place, man. So you don't have to jump around to different YouTube channels to find us. Don't worry if you're missing my guy, Ben Kaspick. He will still be doing shows. The daily shows, that's not changed. Ben's still delivering you the daily stuff you need to know about your San Francisco Giants. I'm just here to bring you some instant live reactions on every single game this season, or at least the vast majority of them. We're always going to be doing these postcasts. Try and do them within the first couple minutes of the final pitch, of the final out of every game. So if you don't know me, I am Eric Triple E Engel. I have worked as a producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR, the Giants flagship radio station, for several years. And also I've been doing these postcasts with Locked On for a while now. We started last year, did the entire Giants season, did the second half of the Warriors season last year. I've done all of the Warriors this year, all the Giants this year. So we've been here a minute, and man, I'm just excited to have a bigger audience with you guys, because it was a little bit of a discombobulated thing we had going on, but now we're all in unison. One big team, rising tide lifts all boats. If you know Brian Murphy, you know that's one of his favorite sayings, my guy Murph. And I'm just saying, man, this Giants game, what a great way to start the season. And let's get right into it, man. Let's go with tonight's turning point. What was the turning point from today's game?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
It would be easy to pick the ninth inning as the turning point, because obviously that's when the Giants came back and won this game. But I really want to highlight Elliot Ramos, because early on in this game, when the Giants were trailing 3-0, it seemed like they were a little bit dead in the water. So many strikeouts, so many strikeouts. But hey, you find a way to get a base runner. Jung-Hoo Lee gets on base, gets that walk, and up comes Elliot Ramos, plants one into right center field, and going oppo taco with that low and away pitch. It really lifted the Giants, gave them some life, gave them a shot of adrenaline in the arm that really carried this team to be able to have any chance of a comeback. Without that 2-run bomb, I don't think the Giants come back and win this game in the ninth inning. And man, we've seen Patrick Bailey and Wilmer Flores come up clutch in late game situations plenty of time. Seared in my brain is the Patrick Bailey walk-off on last year on April 20th. If you're a 420th, you might know what I'm talking about. Pat Bailey, it was his bobblehead day too, if I remember correctly. Pat Bailey with the walk-off on his bobblehead day on 420. It was a great vibe out there at Oracle Park. Not a walk-off for Bailey today, but he did get the Giants back in the game with that little seeing eye single. He didn't try to do too much with it, and I really liked his approach at the plate there. He was in a 3-0 count initially and was swinging away, man, and that's what you need to do in those situations. But he also didn't try to do too much with the ball. He wasn't trying to just crank one out of there. He was just trying to get a base hit, and that's all they needed in the situation, and that's exactly what he delivered. And the Giants offense, that's kind of got to be the calling card for them this year if they're going to have success. They got to have they can't try to do too much. I think a lot of what you saw today was the Giants trying to do too damn much at the plate and thus ended up striking out what seemed like every damn time that somebody came up to bat. 17 strikeouts, 17 of your 27 outs coming via strikeout is not what you want. And yeah, I know Hunter Green was absolutely filthy today. That guy, I mean, if you don't have some futures bets on the over for his strikeouts this season, go run, don't walk to FanDuel and place those bets in right now because Hunter Green, man, this guy, the sky's the limit for him. I think he's just as good as, his potential is just as high as someone like Paul Skeens, which might sound crazy to some people, but I really do think that Hunter Green is that level of a pitcher. He is just phenomenal flamethrower and tough to hit, really hard when you have a starter coming out throwing triple digits for the entire time that he's out there. It's pretty insane. There's not too many guys out there that can do it. But he only had 8 strikeouts himself. The rest of these strikeouts that came from every single reliever, it felt like, was not very good for the Giants at the dish. I mean, every single reliever who came in had a strikeout. Most had 2. There was only one guy who came in for the Reds who only had 1 strikeout. And each one of these relievers only pitched 1 inning or less. So that is a problem that's going to be something we're keying in on all season long is the Giants strikeouts. But today, man, it was all about the 9th inning comeback. And let's get to it. Let's get to tonight's player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And we're just going to go chalk here, man. Wilmer Flores gets the player of the game nod for us today. Wilmer, I absolutely love this guy in the lineup when he is healthy and swinging the bat well, which we did not see last season. He was not healthy basically the entire year. Seeing Wilmer healthy back in this lineup can really change what this team does. I mean, there's a lot of questions at first base. A topic for a different day. I mean, first base is a giant question mark. Seeing if the Giants can piecemeal it together with a couple different guys until inevitably Bryce Eldridge comes up to the squad. But today, man, Wilmer Flores delivered huge, big time for the Giants. He was DHing today. I'm sure he'll get some action at first base when Lamont Wade eventually, gets injured and needs some rest time. But I do really like the combination of the two. If you could turn them both into fusion them both into one single player, you might have a pretty solid first baseman between the two of them. But for today, Wilmer delivers with that big three-run jack in the 9th inning, and the Giants go home happy with a win. Now, weird schedule. No game tomorrow. Giants have an off day in the middle of this 3-game series. They'll pick it back up on Saturday, and we will be coming to you live on the Locked On Giants postcast as we always do after every single Giants game. So if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, like it, subscribe it, make sure you're tuned in, turned on those notifications so that you never miss a Locked On Giants postcast or a Locked On Giants daily show with my guy, Ben Kaspick, who does a great job bringing you everything you need to know. It's about all the time that we got for you guys today. Didn't get to all the comments in the chat. But I see all you guys out there, Jet Black, Onyx, and Brian Simpson, and everybody else that's been JP, everybody else who's been commenting in the chat. I appreciate you guys. We will be more interactive, I promise, with the chat in the future. I too much energy today, man. So excited about opening day, my singular favorite day of the year. So thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you guys can join us next time. We'll see you then. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel.